Love Island Season 7, Episode 1 recap. Let's go. Y'all, I am so happy that Love Island season is back and in action. I'm going to be recapping all of Love Island, and hopefully in the future I'll be uploading a lot earlier in the day. The whole setback in time last night threw the whole thing off. But let's get into this recap. I gotta say, I really am not a huge fan of the dance intro. Like, I get it. You have Ariana Madix and she is a performer. She is Broadway. She's got the moves. She was on Dancing with the Stars. So I get it. You want to utilize her as best as you can if you're paying her the big bucks. But like, that was a good 10 minutes of my time that I really didn't need to waste. As we're reintroduced to the villa, we found out that they did make some additions from last year to this year that included the sauna, the speakeasy, and the photo booth. The sauna I get because I can see some hot and steamy scenes coming this summer, but like the other two, kind of random. I guess the speakeasy is kind of like a good place for people to go and have private conversations, like soul ties kind of, but I don't know if if it fits the vibe. And then on top of that, the photo booth makes zero sense to me. Like, they're already being filmed. So we finally get to meet two of our islanders, and they are Chelley and Olandria. Instantly got very good vibes from both of them. I just kind of was like, oop, I love these two. They just vibed with each other immediately too. The only thing I will say is Olandria definitely is a character, right? She is she's a little extra, but this is coming from someone who is a little extra herself. So, no judgment, but it was definitely something I noticed off the bat. So we learn more about Chelley. Chelley is a day trader, and she says, that kind of makes people stop and be like, oh, wait, you're smart. What it told me is that she has nerves of steel. In order to be a day trader, you have got to really believe in yourself. You've got to really have your anxiety in check, or you just cannot last. She was born in Miami, and now she is in Queens, or it might be Brooklyn, I can't remember. She states that she has dated girls in the past as well as men, obviously, but she said that she doesn't really like to take on a label. She said, my label is Chelley, and that's who I am. Love me a girl who is open to all things. Amen. Bring it on. Lastly, she spoke on how, in her opinion, sex is incredibly important for a relationship. And she basically also said that she doesn't believe that good sex can be taught, and that, if two people don't work together, they don't work together, and she's not going to waste her time on someone who's not providing her what she needs. We then learn a little bit more about Olandria. She's 27. She has been single for 5 years. She's from Alabama, and she is looking for a country boy. She wants a cowboy. She wants a man who can build his own house. She wants a guy who's going to be chivalrous. You know what I mean. She's a first-generation college graduate, and now she works in the elevator and escalator industry. That's definitely one of those industries that you don't sit there and think about throughout the day. So, definitely was not what I was expecting, but I mean, cool for her. Like I said, I think that Olandria has just a spunk about her that I really like. So I'm interested to see how she goes, and I'm interested to see who she's going to couple up with throughout the season. Huda pulls up, and she immediately gasses up the other girls. She's like, damn girl, you look fine. She came in hot. She wanted to show the girls like, hey, I am here to gas y'all up. I am your friend, etc. Huda is 24 years old. She's from Raleigh, and she owns her own fitness business. She was very adamant about talking about how she owns her own business, which good on you, girl. She is the youngest in a Middle Eastern family. She has been single for 4 years, does not want a man that frequents the clubs, and most importantly, she has a daughter. I believe this is the first time in Love Island USA history that we have someone with a child. I'm not sure how that's going to go, because we saw it with Jessica on Love is Blind on Netflix. So who knows how that's going to go. I know that the guys who tend to go on Love Island, I don't know how they're going to feel about that information. So I hope it doesn't deter her from finding her man, but unfortunately, you just don't know. I thought it was very interesting that Huda told Chelley and Olandria that she had a child, that she had a little girl. But but asked them immediately not to tell anyone because she said she did not want to reveal that immediately. She wanted to get to know some guys and then tell whomever she kind of connected with. I thought that was interesting. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. I really like her, but I do know that if someone tells you a secret within minutes of meeting them, that can be a red flag. I mean, it's worse in a relationship, but still, I hope it was just she was trying to show like, hey, I want to be friends with you guys and I'm trusting you with this information, but I don't know. Then Bella and Yulissa arrive. Bella, we find out more about Bella. She is 22. She was born in Oregon, moved to Hawaii. I would be interested to know when she moved to Hawaii for certain reasons. She's definitely the baby of the group. She kind of describes herself as the person that's always positive about everything and how it kind of bothers her friends at times, but she was like, everyone needs a Bella in their life. I'm kind of getting that toxic positivity from her. There's something about Bella that kind of throws me off. Yeah. I don't know necessarily why Bella chose Love Island. Like, we'll get into why later, but I just don't know if someone like Bella is made for Love Island or if Love Island is the right show for her. I feel like Love is Blind actually would be a good show for her. She says her ex did not want her and she always goes for the nonchalant guy and she wants to try and find a guy who's going to really put her first and make her feel special. So we shall see how that goes. Then we move on and learn more about Yulissa. Now, we do know more information about Yulissa from stalking her socials, so I know that there's a good chance that Yulissa's going to go early on because a lot of people are like, we need to vote her out. The administration that she supports, gotta go. I'm interested to see how long Yulissa sticks around. I do know that Love Island producers will finagle things. If they want to keep someone around, they'll keep them around. They'll change up the rules of the vote. They'll be like, oh, now from these people, you guys have to choose who goes, you know, kind of like the Andrea thing last year. So while she's probably going to be voted down to the bottom along with Austin, you never know what the producers are going to do if they want to keep someone. Yulissa is 27. She owns a mobile bar. And she lives in Miami. She is 4'10", so she is legally a little person, I think. I think it's if you're under 4'11", right? She was in a 9-year relationship, and she talked about how she cooked for him, cleaned for him, acted like a wifey, and then he just discarded her. So she instantly gave me pick-me energy in terms of her being like, you know, I'll do anything for my man. And like, if he wants me to dress up and role play and do this, that, and the other thing, I'll do anything. I'll even suck his toe if he wants me to. I'm like, girl, did you not learn your lesson from the whole cooking and cleaning and not getting anything back? I don't know. She claims while talking to the other girls that she would be happy even if she walked away from the show with new friends. But again, based on what we have learned from her socials, I don't know how many of those girls are going to still be friends with her. We'll see. Ariana arrives and everyone gets very excited about this. Now, I have some thoughts on Ariana's presentation. Okay. Dress, gorgeous. Body, crazy good. Hair. What was going on with the hair? What was the hair? Clearly she had extensions in, and whoever did her hair that day, I have questions. Where was the blend? I could see every piece of her actual hair and every piece of extension separately. It threw me off. I could not stop looking at it. Like, I missed quite a bit of conversation and had to rewatch it because I was like, is that what? I was confused. The girls kind of talk. Olandria talks about how she thinks she may have healed too much, where she is very closed off to new people. She's very quick to cut people off because she is healed so much and is protecting her peace so much. So she's trying to open up and hopefully really take advantage of this whole process and show. Bella reveals that she's only been in one relationship and that she is Christian. That her being a Christian is definitely going to come into play later, and once again is making me question whether or not this is the show for her. Not because she's Christian, but because she very much holds Christian values when it comes to, like, sex, okay? Like, we know that Janae was very religious in last season, but that didn't hold her back from a lot of things, if you know what I mean. Huda says she wants a pretty man. Good for you, girl. You're pretty. Get your pretty man. Chelley says she is looking for a romantic. Similar to what Olandria said, she wants someone that's going to open the door for her, you know, walk on the side of the street to keep her safe, that type of thing. So then Nick and Ace arrive, and instantly Shelley's like, is this real life? Is this real life? And it turns out that her and Ace met. We don't know when exactly. I don't think we found out the exact when it happened, but it was on her birthday. She was outside of a club and he approached her. They exchanged numbers. They talked on Instagram for a while, but they decided it wasn't going to work because she was in Orlando and he was in LA. I have thoughts. It's giving, this is a setup. It's giving they both knew they were going onto the show. It's giving they both went onto the show to make the money. And or they might already be in a relationship, so that might not be fake. But the likelihood of you running into someone that you've already flirted with on Love Island when they're recruiting from all over the world, ain't no way. Ain't no fucking way. So I'm really concerned about that, because if that is the case, that's really going to mess up the way that other Islanders get to, you know, have a chance with people, because if they keep going back together, like, no. Ace grew up in LA. He grew up in a very large family, and he clearly is very much a family man. He very much cares about his family. His family is like high priority in his life. He has them tatted on his leg. He states that he's only 5'10", but he doesn't care. He says that's a lot of people think he's a player, but he's not one. And I'm like, whenever I hear the term people think I'm a player, I instantly am like, huh. And lastly, we learned that he has his own dance company and he teaches other people how to dance. We did kind of learn this previous to the season starting, because he has gone viral on TikTok teaching people in like Pakistan and India how to dance. So we have seen him about, so, which also, though, again, leads kind of to the clout thing. But then we learn more about Nick. First off, Nick starts off his conversation with the group by saying in his past relationships, he felt like he didn't get enough attention. And I'm like, okay. Instant red flags with Nick, in my opinion. Then he talks about how he wants physical touch. Ariana immediately calls him on it and is like, so you're just horny? And he's like, well, I mean, not always that. And, yeah, that's what it is. Let's be honest. He's 24. He is a registered nurse. And again, red flag after red flag with this man. He calls himself feral. He says he's always going to take a risk. He does, you know, and all of his friends think he's crazy because of it. He talks about how he's been to 44 different countries, and then compares women to spices, and that again told me everything I need to know about Nick. And the last red flag from Nick during his intro was that he said he's looking for a woman who will accept his crazy. Red flag. Taylor arrives alone. I instantly was like, I don't know about this one. The outfit just wasn't giving it for me, and like, I love me a cowboy outfit, but like, that was just not it, not well tailored. And then him skipping in was just a little bit cringe, but you know, he kind of reminds me of Cordell a lot. He gives that like younger energy. I did get Cordell vibes from him, but we will see as we learn more about him. We find out that he is 24, he lives in Oklahoma, and he competes in rodeo competition. He has 4 horses, and one of the things that he uses to determine if a woman is good or not is her feet. He says, this line's weird. He says, if she can't take care of her feet, how's she going to be able to take care of me? And I'm like, why is she taking care of you? I don't know which way I feel about Taylor. We will see, I guess. One little factoid that I thought was hilarious was Chelley admitted that to the group that she did not realize that ponies were real and she thought they were just from like My Little Pony. I found that to be hilarious and made me like her even more. Jeremiah and Austin arrive. Austin, again, is another one that we found out about online before the season started, that there's a good chance that he is going to be voted off unless the producers step in and try and keep him around. He was also full of red flags. He is 26. He's from Michigan, but now he lives, I believe, in Miami or maybe Orlando. I can't remember. He says that he falls in love easily, which is like, that's giving narcissist. And he's a professional pool boy. And then he calls his boss a cockblock. And I'm like, okay. Oh, and then he tells us a little anecdote about how when he wants to talk to a girl at the club, he will purposefully spill her drink so then he can buy her a new one. Weird. Also, ladies, don't take drinks from men. Lastly, we learn about Jeremiah. He is 25, he lives in LA, and he is a model / caterer. He's a nerd, bookworm, gamer. He loves Fortnite. He says he wants an emotionally intelligent woman, and then he does reveal that his last relationship ended after a year and a half because he cheated. He claims that it was one of the hardest things because he lost himself. He couldn't recognize himself anymore. And I'm like, So now we move on to the coupling challenge. We're going to kind of speed through this, but it started with Chelley. Chelley first went over to Austin, kissed him. Kiss seems pretty good. Then she goes over to Ace, and that kiss seemed, again, very familiar. And then she picked Ace. Huda then goes and she kisses Jeremiah, and then she kisses Ace, and she ends up choosing Jeremiah. And you can tell that they click pretty dang quick. Bella decides to just do pecks on the cheek. Again, what are you doing on the show? And she pecks Nick and Taylor and then ends up picking Nick, which is also crazy because he's the hypersexual one and you're the one that doesn't even want to kiss. Like, not even just a peck on the lips. Olandria kisses Taylor first, and then she kisses Nick, and then, of course, she picks Taylor, which I thought was a pretty obvious choice, considering she's literally looking for a cowboy, and he's literally a cowboy. Then Yulissa comes in. She kisses Ace for quite a while, and then she kisses Jeremiah, and then she picks Ace, which then kicks Chelley out, and Chelley has to then wait to see who she ends up with. And of course that ends up being Austin because he's the only one left. We then kind of see the couples break off and have their own little conversations. Taylor and Olandria really hit it off, seem to be connecting with each other. They talk about how chivalry is dead and, you know, how she really wants a man that's not only going to provide, but a man that's going to really step up and, you know, open every door, do this, that, and the other thing, you know. So it was it was clear to me that they definitely seemed to connect. There were a few points in their conversation, though, where Taylor said some things where I was like, I didn't write them down, unfortunately, but I do remember thinking to myself, like, that was a little interesting of a response. But outside of that, they seemed to hit it off. Austin and Chelley start talking to each other. I don't know if there's a lot of chemistry there. I will say Austin is a lot more shy than I originally would have thought based on him being Mr. Pool Boy. And then Chelley makes it clear that she does think Austin is hot. So there's that. Yulissa and Ace talk. They seem to be getting along quite well. I think she's clearly more into him than her. I think I know why. But they talk about how they both have big families. They're both really into family, and that's kind of what they connected on. Bella and Nick, their conversation was awkward as hell. I don't know in what world they would work, and Nick is not going to stick around with her because he's going to realize, like, oh, I'm not going to get laid here. So, like, I would be shocked if they last through like one recoupling. Jeremiah and Huda definitely, again, are incredibly connected, incredibly fast. It does kind of throw up some red flags for me. I do think they're adorable, okay? And I think what he did during the coupling challenge was cute, where he just kind of kissed Yulissa on the cheek and because he was trying to be respectful. But it was a little, I don't know. I am worrisome because it's moving so quick and because they both seem very like really quick. We've seen that in the past in other seasons and it never ends well. It ends up with a lot of tears. Before bed in the first night, the girls kind of meet in the makeup room. They're all taking off their makeup and they are chatting, and Chelley again makes it incredibly clear that she is very much into Ace. And it's like, again, it's just, I don't know, guys, it's shady. The likelihood of that happening is so low. I'm sorry, guys. Like, I really like Chelley too. Like, I don't like Ace though, but I really like Chelley, so if she is lying to us all, that would be shitty. Huda does acknowledge that they're moving incredibly fast, and she does wonder aloud to the girls, like, do you guys think this might be a red flag? And everyone kind of is just like, keep your options open, have fun, be true to yourself, and see what happens. The next day, everyone kind of keeps chatting. No real conversation stood out to me except for the following. Huda and Jeremiah talk, and she, in passing, brings up that she has an extra bedroom, and he's like, oh, what's the extra bedroom for? Is it like for an office? And she was like, no. And then he was like, oh, well, what's it for? And she was like, and so that made it incredibly awkward because he's probably thinking it's an ex-boyfriend or something, or an ex-husband, or who knows what he's thinking. And I don't blame him, but I don't know. I just don't know if it's going to go well. And once again, Ace and Chelley meet up and they're talking about it being fate and this, that, and the other thing. And I'm just like, okay. We have the kissing challenge, and the following happens. Nick kisses Olandria, which I thought was very interesting. Chelley kissed Ace. Shocker. Olandria kisses Ace. I don't know what the allure is with Ace, to be honest. Ace kisses Chelley, of course. We all expected that. But then in a random twist, Ace also kissed Huda, which I was like, The bombshells arrive, and I don't know if either of them are really giving bombshell to me. They're both incredibly good looking, but I don't know if it's like bombshell level. I don't know. I feel like I always feel like that. So maybe I'm just judging too quickly and harshly. So that pretty much does it for Love Island USA Season 7, Episode 1. I'm hopeful. It's the first episode. You don't really connect with anyone too much, but I am really hopeful for this season. You know, I know a lot of people are doing way too much in terms of comparing it to last season. Like, these people have a lot to live up to, and I don't think that's really fair. Genuinely, I feel like Season 6 was such a hit because so many new people came and started watching Love Island USA. They all did because of Ariana. So I do think that there's a good chance that this season could be just as good if everyone just gives it a chance. Or the people that are not true Love Island USA fans can just... Either way, again, I'm going to be doing daily recaps. So if you enjoyed this recap, please subscribe, give this video a like, and let me know in the comments who your favorite Islander is currently and what couple do you think is going to break up first. I'll catch you in the next one.